TMCnet at NextCom 2008.
Good morning. Welcome again here at NextCom 2008 in Las Vegas. I'm Erik Linask, joined this morning by NetQuest Vice President of Sales and Marketing, Jesse Price. Welcome, Jesse.
Good morning, Erik. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. So NetQuest has sort of played a little bit behind the scenes, if you will, for a while, but you're sort of growing your presence now, or at least coming out in the open with it. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Sure. It's absolutely accurate. I mean, NetQuest has actually been in business since 1987, focused at delivering technology solutions to appliance manufacturers in the network monitoring space. And really the technology that was provided to those vendors was the access technology. While those vendors are focusing on the higher order software functions that those products bring to their customers, the access technology was kind of often left behind, and what we've done now is leverage that intellectual property to deliver a series of products that we call the OptiCop converger products. And they're really all about providing access and optimization to the probes that are in the network, monitoring things like revenue assurance, user experience, service assurance, and performance management. So they really provide a lot of value in terms of making the monitoring platforms perform better by eliminating a lot of the noise in the traffic that's on the network. So.
Why the interest in sort of increasing NetQuest visibility?
It's really about putting the company on the map as an equipment provider, and to build the business longer term and expand the customer base, obviously. So.
And speaking of your customer base, are you after the service provider carrier space or the enterprise space?
Yes. We actually focus in three areas. They are the carrier and service providers, the enterprise space, and it tends to be large multinational enterprise entities that we're focused at, and then government agencies who are looking to monitor their network for lawful intercept-like applications.
So certainly a focus on that these days, isn't there?
Yeah.
So that's got to be a strong part of your business.
It is. It's very much a growing part of our business. Historically we had been providing technology to some players in that space, so we have quite a bit of familiarity with that. And we see the security market as one that's going to continue to grow for an unforeseeable future.
Sure. Is there a renewed or a growing interest in network monitoring that we're seeing now?
I think so. I think that the dynamics that are occurring are there's really a multitude of things that are happening. And with network convergence, we now have core networks that are operating at just tremendous bandwidth speeds. And the monitoring of those networks has become a bigger challenge, in that the probes really are faced with, and I use this analogy often, but drinking from the fire hydrant. And they really need this new access device to lay on top of that to really take the traffic, bring it down to the services that they're interested in monitoring, and then pass that data on to the probes without distorting the results. So, there's that dynamic that's going on, and as subscribers are being transitioned from fixed line services or circuit-based services to packet-based services, that's an opportunity to lose the customer. And monitoring that traffic or that service that's being provided during that transition is essential in ensuring that the user experience doesn't degrade as he migrates to this new packet-based transport. The customers really don't buy a technology. If you're buying voice, you're buying a service, and how it actually gets to you is you're really indifferent to it. But you certainly have an expectation of how it should perform. And should that performance degrade, you run the risk of churning that customer off of your network. And as we bundle services more, where, even at the consumer level here, where we're now bundling video with internet access, with voice traffic, to lose a customer because of performance issues in any one of those services, you're now losing a high-value customer, as opposed to churning off a $20, $30 voice customer. So it really becomes essential here in monitoring into the future, and I think it just continues to be exacerbated by the convergence of the network. So.
And is the sort of inclusion of packet-based voice really what's driving and accelerating the monitoring market?
It's just one of them, Erik. It really, it's much more than that, and it really just comes back to this convergence of the core network and the fact that we now have multiple services being transported on a single pipe, if you will, and that really becomes the dynamic more than anything, and that any one of those services could be degraded based on changes in the network topology, usage of the network. So, while everybody spends quite a bit of time modeling these things before they put them in, the models are just that, and the network is a very dynamic entity, and slight changes in any configuration can play dramatic effects on the services that are being created on that network. So.
What can we expect to see from NetQuest in the future?
Sure. At this point, we've introduced this series of end-user products. I think you can expect to see us continue to fill out that product line, to continue to follow the ramp in terms of bandwidth as the network moves from gigabit to 10 gigabit to 100 gigabit, maybe a 40 gigabit stop in the middle there. But I think you can expect to see us do that, and as it becomes more complex, the filtering capabilities that we add into the solution will become more complex as well. So.
Fantastic. We've been talking this morning with NetQuest's Jesse Price. Jesse, thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Erik.
And have a successful rest of the show.
You too.